here.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, back at it again with another Minecraft video, and today we're gonna talk about how I got into college. If you're new here, hi, my name's Lordrick, currently a senior in high school, and you can follow me on Instagram at lordrick.valsote. This year I applied to 26 schools and filmed my reactions to opening all my decisions. So if you haven't already, please check out that video. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll try to put a card in the corner somewhere. If you've already seen it, you'd know that somehow I got into some super good schools like Stanford, Columbia, and Brown. And it seems like y'all would really like to know how I got into them. Well, so would I. The short answer is that I just grinded all throughout high school. But the real answer is a lot more complicated than that. Nonetheless, in the comments of my college decision reaction video, I got a lot of comments that look like this. So by popular demand, I'm here to share my stats. My test scores, GPA, extracurricular activities, and all that other fun stuff that went into my college applications. This video will probably be really long as I'll try to go as in-depth as I can, so I'll put timestamps somewhere on screen and down below so you guys can skip to whatever you need. Just as a disclaimer, my intention in making this video isn't to brag about my accomplishments or to flex on other people. There are definitely plenty of other people who are way more impressive and qualified than I am. You know, my application wasn't perfect. I got into some really amazing schools, but I also got waitlisted and rejected from other equally amazing schools. There are a lot of factors that go into college admissions, and since this game we play has become so competitive and convoluted, there isn't really one perfect path that will get you into the college of your dreams. It could just be luck. No one really knows. I really liked watching these kinds of videos in the past because I was inspired by these people who were able to get into these really amazing, really selective schools. But even though their stats were pretty different from mine, I was also able to get into some really awesome schools. And so while these are my stats, these are not the stats you necessarily need in order to get into these kinds of schools because every school is looking for something different. You can have lower stats than these and get into the same schools, and you can also have higher stats and not get into these schools. The mindset I hope you guys can take away from watching this video is not that you should strive for the same scores or whatever, but rather that in order to maximize the chances of getting into any school, the best thing you can do is present the best version of yourself to the admissions officers that you can, while obviously staying true to who you are. Everyone's circumstances are different, you know, family life, socioeconomic background, geographic region, all factors that are just outside of one's control. And despite that, you just have to make the best of what you have. College admissions are pretty random, and it can definitely be unfair to some more than others. So if you get in, congratulations. And if you don't, it's not you, it's them. And with that out of the way, let's dive into some juicy stats. First up, GPA and class rank. My school doesn't typically do class rank, but they do it for the top 2. So my class rank was 1 out of 64, meaning I am valedictorian this year. Honestly, class ranking is pretty relative in the context of your school because I went to a pretty small school, but if you went to a much larger school that's known for being competitive, colleges may put different emphasis on your ranking. For my GPA, my school only does weighted GPA, so I had to self-calculate my unweighted GPA, which was around a 3.98-ish. But on the Common App, I only listed my weighted GPA, which was a 5.07. So my school does GPA very strangely because everything is essentially bumped up 0.3 for whatever reason. At most schools, an A in an AP class would count as a 5.0 for your GPA, but at my school, it would count as a 5.3. So if I recalculate my GPA to what it would be at other schools, it would be a 4.77. Either way, in my college counselor's rec letter, she noted that my GPA was the highest in school history. So that's cool. But most colleges recalculate your GPA based on their own methods anyways, so weighted GPA doesn't really matter. You don't even need a 4.0 unweighted, just do your best and strive for high grades. Next, course load. I'll just read out the classes on my transcript. Freshman year, Honors English 9, Honors Math 1, Honors Biology, Honors World History 2, Spanish 2, Men's Sports, Drawing 1, Graphic Design, Health 9, and Service Learning, which is basically just our class on community service. Sophomore year, AP English Language, Honors Math 2, Honors Chemistry, AP US History 1, Spanish 4, Sculpture, Digital Photography, Painting, Music Fundamentals, Service Learning, and I dual enrolled at a local university for a philosophy class called Critical Reasoning. Junior year, AP English Literature, AP Calculus AB, AP Chemistry, AP US History 2, because it's a 2-year course at my school, AP Psychology, AP Art 2D Design, College Skills, Service Learning, and I dual enrolled for Intro to Philosophy as well as Pre-Calculus. Senior year, AP Biology, AP US Government, AP Spanish Language, AP Art 2D Design, because it's also a 2-year course at my school, AP Statistics, College Skills, and Service Learning. I took an online class for AP Physics C, and I dual enrolled once again for American Literary Studies as well as Literature and Film. My takeaway for this is to just take the most challenging classes you can and do your best to excel in them. I took every honors and AP class I could. I also skipped some class levels, like skipping English 10 to take AP Lang and skipping Math 3 to take AP Calc. Skipping classes isn't normally allowed at my school, and AP classes are usually only for juniors and seniors, but I basically just asked them and they let me. So yeah, finessing the system. The specific courses you take don't necessarily matter, I think, because every school has a different curriculum and different course offerings. Colleges just want to see you taking the most challenging classes you can while still doing well in them. Next, test scores. 9th grade, I took the PSAT, got a 1320, 10th grade, got a 1390, 11th grade, got a 1480, which means I qualified as a National Merit semifinalist. And for official tests, I only ever took the SAT. Apparently there's a geographic divide on which tests you take, so East Coast is SAT and West Coast is ACT. I don't know if there's any truth to that, so leave a comment down below about what side of the country you're from and which test you take or took. Anyway, I took the SAT 3 times. The first I got a 1470, 740 in evidence-based reading and writing, 730 in math. Second time I got a 1490, 750 in reading, 740 in math. I also took the essay that time and got a 15 out of 24. I said yikes and swore to never take the essay again. Third time I got a 1570, 770 in reading, 800 in math. I also took 2 sittings of subject tests. In my first sitting, I took 3, 750 in math 2, 680 in chemistry, and 780 in US history. In my second sitting, I retook math and chem. I got a 710 in chemistry, but I actually went down and got a 740 in math 2. I submitted all of my scores to colleges. Some people say to only send your best ones, but I sent all of them to show growth on the SAT, I guess. Colleges also say that they only look at your highest scores regardless, so whatever floats your boat, honestly. My advice for the SAT is to really sit down and take those practice tests so you can get into the SAT mindset. I didn't study too much for the first 2 attempts, but I really hunkered down on the third one and got significantly better results. And for the subject tests, choose ones you recently took a class on because it'll make preparing for them easier. I didn't do too much studying because I kind of procrastinated until the night before, but it is what it is. Moving on, AP scores. AP English Language 5, AP Literature 5, Psychology 5, US History 5, AP Calculus AP 4, Chemistry 3. As you can see, I did pretty well on them overall. My strengths on these tests definitely lean toward the humanities side, but my Calc and Chem scores weren't the worst. I know that some people get stressed over a 3 or even a 4, but those scores are perfectly fine, honestly. You don't need straight 5s to get into a good school. Next, awards. On Common App, you have room for 5 awards, so I just listed them in order of recency. First, National Merit Scholarship semifinalist, though I became a finalist later. State/regional award, 12th grade. Then I have U.S. Presidential Scholars Program nominee, and in parentheses, awaiting finalist status. National award, 12th grade. I don't really understand what this is, to be honest, but there was some kind of qualification process based on standardized testing and some other stuff. Apparently, if you become a finalist, you get to go to the White House and stuff. I didn't really look into it too much, but it seemed pretty cool. Next, I have winner of high school quiz show Extra Credit, which was a state/regional award for 12th grade, and I'll go more into this later in my extracurricular section. Then I have Bryant University Excellence in High School Psychology Award, state/regional award, 11th grade. Basically, I submitted a class project I did on classical conditioning. There were submissions from all over New England, and I happened to win. Last, I have the Harvard Book Award, School Award, 11th grade. A Harvard alum gives it to one person in the junior class for exhibiting the kinds of qualities Harvard is looking for, I think. I wasn't actually at the award ceremony that year because I was in Korea at the time, so I don't really know. But Harvard rejected me, so it's whatever. Extracurriculars, the good stuff. On Common App, you can list 10 activities. You don't necessarily need to, and you shouldn't if some of the activities are just fluff to hit that 10 activity mark. But I did a lot of things that were meaningful to me, so I did list 10. I also know there's like a 100-character limit on the descriptions, so I'll put up pictures so y'all can see how I formatted it on Common App. You can list them in order of importance, number of hours, or by category, whatever floats your boat. I did a mix of all three, as you'll see. There's also an option to say if you'd like to continue doing the activity in college, which I don't think really matters, but I said yes for all of them. First, National Security Language Initiative for Youth, U.S. State Department scholarship to study Korean for 7 weeks in Jeonju, South Korea, promoting diplomacy and culture exchange. 1 of 20 in my cohort, grade 12, summer, 40 hours per week for 7 weeks. Nisli was so impactful to me and has really shaped the person I am today. That experience really shaped a large part of my application, including my essays and the theme I wanted to present. So if you're still in high school next year, I encourage y'all to apply. I actually started my YouTube channel doing vlogs during my time with Nisli, which you can check out if you'd like. I'll add a link to the playlist down in the description. Second, student body president, organized 10 plus major school events annually, coordinated most student fundraising efforts, represented student body to parents, staff, administration, grades 9 through 12, although I was only president this year, school year, 3 hours per week for 35 weeks. Third, History Bowl team captain, advanced to national championships in Washington, D.C. 2 consecutive years, ranked 10th nationally for small schools, led team in scoring, grades 9 through 12, school year, 3 hours per week for 30 weeks. Fourth, Quiz Bowl and Quiz Show team captain, will compete on WGBH's high school quiz show, one of the top 16 quiz teams in the state, twice qualified for NAQT Small School Nationals, lead scorer, grades 11 through 12 because they didn't exist for the first 2 years, school year, 3 hours per week for 30 weeks. So basically, High School Quiz Show is a TV show here in Massachusetts where schools do Quiz Bowl on TV. My team just missed the top 14 in the qualifying round, so we entered a separate competition called Extra Credit to get one of the last 2 spots. We ended up winning that, and so I put that as one of my awards, and our episode on TV should have aired by the time this video is out. Fifth, varsity cross-country team captain, organized practices and mentored underclassmen runners, runner-ups at league-wide state championships twice, grades 9 through 12, but I was only captain this year, school year, 8 hours per week for 11 weeks. Sixth, varsity track and field leader. I put leader because I was projected captain, and I technically am captain this year, but spring sports are kind of not happening anymore, so anyway. Ran the 4x400 event at league championships, guided underclassmen runners in short distance events, projected captain, grades 9 through 12, school year, 8 hours per week for 11 weeks. Seventh, National Honor Society Executive Council. Our NHS doesn't have officers for whatever reason, so we just have a council with like 4 people. Facilitated weekly meetings to coordinate extracurricular educational opportunities in the school, created an underclassmen mentoring program, grades 11 through 12, school year, 2 hours per week for 30 weeks. Eighth, Bagong Kulturang Pinoy, which is the organization I'm working with for my senior service project. Worked with local nonprofit to establish libraries across the Philippines, won pitch competition at school, worked with local libraries for donations, grades 11 through 12, all year, 2 hours per week for 25 weeks. Ninth, St. James Church Altar Server, assisted priest and deacon to organize weekly Sunday Mass, mentored younger altar servers, grades 9 through 12, but actually started in 7th grade. All year, 1 hour per week for 52 weeks. 10th, Salem Youth Commission Clerk, organized various service projects to benefit disadvantaged groups around community, led anti-tobacco and anti-vaping campaigns in local high schools, grades 10 through 11, all year, 1 hour per week for 20 weeks. There were a couple of other things I did here and there, but I didn't think they were substantial enough to my application, so I didn't include them. My advice is to just find what you're passionate about early in high school and dive deeply and widely into that subject, because it's a lot easier to commit to things that you actually care about, which is the mindset that will take you the furthest in life. Lastly, additional information. There's a lot of mixed advice out there on whether you should even fill it in or not. My advice is that if it's important to you and adds another side to your application that isn't captured elsewhere, then it's okay to add. You shouldn't fill it with needless fluff because admissions officers don't want to read through another 650 words that add basically nothing to your application. It's honestly fine if you leave it blank. So I divided mine into 2 sections, the first being additional activities, in which I only listed 1. I originally had more things here, but I ended up deleting them because I didn't think they really contributed to my application. Anyway, I wrote that I was a content creator on YouTube where I posted vlogs about my trip to Korea and did study live streams. And I said that the channel had over 5,500 subscribers at the time, and I also linked my channel. I originally wanted to include this in my 10 main activities, but I thought it would look kind of cringe to them, so I didn't. Oh well. The other section was for additional awards. I said I had an honorable mention in the Nizzly Y video contest. So my video got featured on Nizzly's social media, and some of my clips were used in one of their promotional videos, which was cool. I'll put a link to that video somewhere. I also had some more minor awards like AP Scholar with Distinction, Math Award, Spanish Award, Excellence in Achievement Award, and an award for being a model student. Whether this section helped me or not, who knows? I mean, everything worked out in the end, so I guess it was fine. And yeah, besides my essay, that was my whole Common App. To summarize this part of my application, I think what I was able to convey was that I was an academically successful student, as shown through my grades and test scores and such, but they definitely weren't the things that got me into my schools. A common analogy I've been told is that the numbers of your application set the bar you have to climb over to get into a school. They're not what get you into the school. Yes, having better numbers may lower the bar you have to overcome, but you still need to climb over it. No matter the height of the bar, it's going to be your extracurricular activities, your essays, your rec letters, your interviews, all the subjective, qualitative aspects of your application that will get you over that bar. That being said, you don't need to be some kind of superhuman with your extracurriculars. You don't need to solve cancer or win a Nobel Peace Prize to get into whatever school. I did some cool things, but nothing of that level. Through my activities, I just wanted to show that I'm passionate about what I do and aim to grow through these experiences. And again, what resources are available to you will affect what you can do throughout high school, and colleges will take note of that. So like I mentioned earlier, you just have to make the most out of what you have. But who knows? Maybe I'm just a kid who got lucky. Moving forward, I may do a video on my essays because those kinds of videos, in my opinion, were a lot more helpful to me than just stats videos, because I think the essays are really your opportunity to stand out to admissions officers, and I really enjoyed seeing how people really shine through their essays. So if you'd like to see a video on my essays, subscribe, leave a like, comment, all that good stuff, so that I'll know if that would be helpful for y'all. Also, feel free to DM me on Instagram with any questions. And that's all for today, folks, so I'll see you next time. Bye!